Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Healthy Grocer Radio Show, brought to you by New Day Healing at newdayhealing.net and Be More Clean colon hydrotherapy at bemoreclean.com. We share the latest healing products, research, healing practices, and remedies to enhance physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. We're broadcasting globally over the internet every Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon Arizona time. All radio show podcasts can be viewed and heard live on demand 24/7 at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Spreaker, and on our website at healthygrocerradio.com. Should you have any health-related questions or comments regarding our discussion today, please join us live or email your questions to info@healthygrocerradio.com. And remember, health is your greatest wealth.
Hello, hello. What's up, y'all? I'm Elizabeth Joseph. Yes. What's up, Stephanie? What's up, Sam?
Hey,
You know where you're at. You know where you're at. We're at the Healthy Grocer Radio. Yeah.
Yes.
We're at the Healthy Grocer Radio show. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited about today. Again, my name is Elizabeth Joseph, your naturopathic practitioner. We've got Stephanie Stanley from Pharmacists for Humanity, your holistic pharmacist. And then today, yeah, that's right. And today, who do we have here? Who is this lovely, lovely young man? We have Samuel Damon, married with 2 LLCs, he says. Samuel, one period, is a husband, a father, multiple business owner, okay, and community activist, okay? So we want to hear all about that today. And today our topic is the importance of mental health and community. So y'all know I'm the gut health queen. So I'm really excited about this topic because the mental health is so important, and the gut health affects the mental health, and the mental health affects the gut health. They all go together. So I'm super excited about this topic. So awesome. Yeah. Welcome, Samuel.
Welcome, Samuel.
Hey. Good morning.
You got to read your shirt for us. I'm curious.
Oh, he always got fancy shirts.
Your shirt. I like to know what it says. I'm sure. Let's see. Prisons do not disappear social problems. They disappear human beings.
Okay. His shirts always be deep. He is an amazing DJ. He DJs the monthly Melanin Natural Market. So you could check him out there. He DJs weddings, events, but way past the DJ. He's a mental health advocate. So tell me a little bit about yourself, why you're here, and what we're going to be getting into today.
Well, a little bit about my background. In my professional career, I have a lot of experience working with people, right? Going from the prison system to classroom education to working with people with disabilities, mental illness. So throughout my whole adult life, in all of my jobs, pretty much I've been trying to figure out, or in a position to try to figure out, how to improve people's wellness, to get people from a certain place to an improved place, whatever that might look like based on the job or that person's specific journey. And so throughout all of that, and you mentioned my DJing, so those intersected, right? And I would always find myself DJing for, people, Black and brown people from our community, activists, community leaders, people with, positive agendas. And then I would, be in my DJ role, but I would also have this other background as well. So I'm like, in my mind, how can I take advantage of these new connections that I'm meeting and making? And so that kind of fueled me into more activism myself, trying to elevate my own voice and use that to okay, so I know this person, let's have this conversation based on, I met them through DJing, but I have this background, they have this background, let's come together, connect, and see that how we can both, mutually push forward some positive progress.
That's awesome. That's super exciting and cool. I never expected you to be like, oh yeah, the DJing. And I didn't know you did anything with the prison system.
Yeah, I mean, he has it right up there, because that's why I was going to ask, because I'm very passionate about freeing our people from the prison system. So you and I definitely have to connect.
Definitely. We're going to have to get into that. So you can learn more about punctuation with the Period Show, which is his show, at pw1pshow.com. And we'll get that up here on the screen in a minute. Okay. And remember, the show is for you, the listening audience. So join us anytime. Y'all can log on if you're watching live on Facebook, on YouTube. Put in your comments. We'll put them on the screen. We'd love to interact with y'all. So, yeah. So as far as the mental health part goes, why should we be listening to you?
Mm-hmm. Me?
Yeah.
Well, first off, I will do, like, defer and deflect, right? So I won't promote myself as the person, right? A lot of times when I'm doing forums or trainings or anything like that, one of the things I try to encourage everybody to understand is that most of us have the answers within us, right? Mm-hmm. Based on where you come from as far as your own spirituality, your own knowledge base, your ancestors, your parents, right? You have a certain foundation of what's going to carry you forth, right? And then when we begin to, again, make those connections, grow our network, get more information from trusted sources, that's how we just take it a step further. But that first, like, inclination, those instincts, that starts within you, right? So if I were to say, like, you should listen to me, well, sometimes my energy might not mesh with someone else's energy, right? And that's okay, right? But if I approach it with, you should listen to me, they're like, nah, you're not the one, right? So I always preface, I'm here to share. I'm here to, like, promote and do what I can. But if I'm not the one, let's connect you with, Sis Elizabeth. Let's connect you with, Sis Stephanie. Let's get you to where you need to be, so that it feels right for you to get the information. But to answer your question more directly, like I said, I've been in behavioral health for about 20 years now.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
I've done right.
Cancel that first part he said, everyone.
I've done. I have grown a lot myself as far as awareness, specifically when we're talking about Black and Brown communities, right? Black and Brown people, and how certain disparities, certain systems of oppression affect us differently or uniquely. When we're talking about mental health, mental wellness, talking about like food deserts and stuff like that, right? The topics can be expansive when we're talking about that. Right. So when you do talk to me, or when you do reach out to me, there should be an understanding that the way I approach it is from that standpoint. Being a Black man, having a Black family, being conscious of my Blackness. That's the lens through which I approach mental wellness. And when I'm talking to others about it, we're going to have that as a ground floor, talk about everything else.
That's awesome. I love that. What do you think, Stephanie? You think it's going to be a good show?
I'm writing down notes, right?
I already know it.
Gathering information to make it more juicy and informative, and to let the community know who we have in our guest chair today.
Yeah, I'm super, super excited. So we're going to get into it. We're going to get right into it. We're going to take a super, super quick commercial break. And then, and then we're going to come back and we're going to dive deep. And I definitely want to know, what did you do in the prison system?
Yes,
all right.
Yes.
We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Yeah.
Are you tired of losing the same 10 pounds over and over again? Then Break the Chains of Dieting by David Medansky is for you. Break the Chains of Dieting provides hope for you to finally lose weight and keep it off without going on a diet, without exercising, and without having to count calories. For less than you'd spend on a pizza, this book gives you the solution you've been looking for. Available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and antidietadvocate.com. Order your copy today.
Bloated? Constipated? Wish there was a way to find relief without nasty side effects. Colon hydrotherapy is an ancient natural practice that gently cleanses the colon with filtered water. Be More Clean specializes in colon hydrotherapy and customized holistic nutrition built for you. Stop by Be More Clean on Scottsdale Road in Thomas or visit our website at bemoreclean.com for all your holistic wellness needs.
Life is about flowing. Our life depends upon the flow and balance of fluids within the body. Maintaining balance and harmony on all levels in life is the ideal way to live. Michael's cholesterol metabolism factors and Michael's blood pressure factors allow for the flow of life to progress in balance and harmony. Let Michael's cholesterol metabolism factors and Michael's blood pressure factors be factors in your flow in the enjoyment of life.
Do you ever feel stuck, frustrated, or just know you could be doing more with your life? Dream Smart Academy is a place where everyone can discover who they were made to be behaviorally, uncover their unique behavioral superpowers, and unleash them upon your world. Visit the Dream Smart Academy today at dreamsmartacademy.com or call Jeff Morris, the Chief Dream Maker, at 760-415-1071.
Life is exciting, fun, and full of adventure, but sometimes it can be unpredictable. When the unexpected hits and you feel trapped in a financial pinch, trust UPI Loan Fund. We operate with integrity and aim to get our lenders back to living life without worrying about hidden fees and high interest rates. When life throws you a curveball, call UPI Loan Fund for low interest loans that you can trust. Learn more. Visit our website, upiloanfund.us. That's UPILOANFUND.us.
Are you looking to ditch caffeine, or do you enjoy coffee but want a delicious caffeine-free cup in the afternoon? Give Genantic Myaseed Coffee Alternative a try. A nutrient-rich coffee alternative using one ingredient, the roasted and ground myaseed, a superfood sourced from Mexico that is alkalizing to the body and high in nutrients, giving you a sustainable nutrient-based energy that your body craves. You can buy on Genantic.com. That's JNANTIK.com.
Spiritual awakening is the process of becoming more in touch with your spiritual core. It is a wonderful journey that is unique for each individual. New Day Healing believes that spiritual, physical, and emotional awakening are all intertwined to create the beautiful beings that we are. New Day Healing offers a wide selection of world music, awakening radio, wellness tools in their spirit shop, and more. Check out their website at newdayhealing.net.
Welcome back to the Healthy Grocer Radio Show. I'm your host, Elizabeth Joseph, with my co-host, Stephanie Stanley, a holistic pharmacist with Pharmacists for Humanity. Our topic today is the importance of mental health and community, with our very special guest, Damon, Samuel 1 period. Husband, father, multiple business owner, and community activist. So I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie and let's get into it.
Let's go. Okay. So you're talking a little bit about what you do and mental health. You have 20 years in. So why is mental health so important, and what do you do for your own mental health and well-being?
Yeah, good question. So from my perspective, and in my opinion, mental health is important because it's at the base of everything we do. I was in a conversation last week, and we were talking about the idea of being in control of yourself, right? Say someone challenges you, bullies you, instigates a confrontation, right? And oftentimes the discussion is, well, you can't control that other person, you can control yourself, right? But when we have that discussion, we're not always including what have you experienced that leads you up to that moment that may debilitate your ability to control yourself, right? So, So if you have a history of all types of trauma, even on that particular day, if you've had like a rough day, right? You spilled your coffee, you're late for work, traffic jam, right? So then when you get to work and, you know, whatever the person's name is, they create some sort of, you know, bad rub, you're more prone to snap or do something unproductive in that moment, right?
Wow.
It may not be, natural to your personality, but in that moment, you're less equipped to mitigate those challenges, right? So to me, that's why mental health is important, because if we don't have an understanding, right, if we don't have an awareness of how everything in our environment since birth basically creates our present self.
Wow.
We're kind of just coasting through these interactions, and we find ourselves with all these questions, bad predicaments, and we don't really get to the source of what happened.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Is that holistic? Would you consider that as like a holistic approach? Would you consider your approach a holistic approach?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, and like you talk about all the time, right? The champion of it is if you don't try, and it is rough, right? Because how can you consider everything always at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So it is a challenge, but I believe we should be informed that that's a goal, right? Because if you don't consider if I say I meditate every day, but I don't pay attention to what I put in my body, you know what I'm saying? I'm not doing the most, right?
Right.
One thing is going to counteract the other.
Yep.
So while we can focus on one thing and be good, we're not being the best if we're not considering the whole, right?
Wow.
The whole thing.
Yeah, that's deep.
All right. Wow. I know you mentioned, I think you said something with birth. I'm like that's the first trauma when we get here, right? The way we come through here, we don't even go back to that trauma, the spanking to get the cry, there's the breath, but that's a whole nother level.
Hopefully not. Hopefully that's not everyone's birth. I'm working to change that.
I know, to shift that. Yeah. But us older one, that's how we got here, So.
Oh man.
And that exactly what you're saying, right? So a couple of things. One, in the westernized culture, right? The dominant culture in this area, that's what it is, right? And that omits, ancient tradition, cultural tradition, right? The hospital, the doctor, that program basically that takes you appointment to system to appointment to discharge, that doesn't necessarily, that doesn't consider that. That's one of the reasons why I think it's important to, again, focus on like where we come from and why we are where we are in the present.
Right.
I forgot what else I was going to say, but yeah.
We'll pull it out of you. You specifically, why is this particular topic important to you? How is it personalized to why you got in and spent 20 years doing it? And then I'm just going to leapfrog and then into the prison system to where we see the result of what you just said not being mitigated consciously.
Yeah. And again, I'm glad you asked it that way, because for me it's personal and they tie together. So first off, again, for further discussions on like abolition of the prison system, I'll defer to an organization called Mass Liberation, Mass Liberation AZ. They are very involved in all of that work, right? But for my own journey, right, and I talk about being aware, working on myself to become more aware. When I first was around 21 years old, again, being in the system, the normal, quote, normal routine, graduate, get a job, look for retirement, right? Not necessarily having a background that informed me of the differences, the importance, the history of my own Blackness or my own culture. I just got a job in the prison system. I was a corrections officer because it was a quote good job, right?
Did you say crisis officer?
Corrections.
Oh, I was like, dang, that's a role? Probably.
Yeah. Same thing in this arena.
Same thing.
Yeah. And it's funny, like fast forward sidebar, I had conversation with some of the individuals that I work with now, specifically in Mass Lib, and I'm like, dang, the stuff that I know now, like I probably would never have gotten a job to kind of perpetuate that prison system, right? But
wow,
what do we do when we don't know, right? We find ourselves, we find ourselves in spaces and places just operating based on how our environment pushes us.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I.e., that's why I'm a holistic pharmacist now.
Girl, wait. So hold on. So you think that so even. Gosh, that's tough. So you think, getting like working in that system is perpetuating it?
In a sense, right? So, so don't get me wrong. We can definitely if we have like the right I won't say right, because what's right and what's wrong. If you're intentional with what your goal is, right?
That's good.
And you're in a job or with an employer, you can position yourself to try to accomplish your personal goal as well as the goal of your community, right? Or your tribe or your village, whatever you want to call it, right? But that's if you have that awareness and you go into it with that intention. That's right. You look at people who have kind of like play the role to get into a political office, and then once they're there, they're like, okay, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I'm Black, so this is what we doing, right? That doesn't happen enough, but there are some people.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Right. So the same thing. Like, had I had a different, or had I had my current mind state back then, well, one, I probably would have got fired, but I would have navigated. I would have navigated that job space a little bit differently versus clocking in, quote, keeping the inmates in check, doing that type of stuff. Again, because, and again, it's opinion, right? But if you're of that mind, that system is not conducive to, one, mental wellness, definitely does not promote wellness in the Black and brown community, right? So looking back, like, what was I and, Sam, the Black man, doing in that space at that time? Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I just know for me, it's kind of like in the space that I'm in, the big pharma space, after a while, you get conscious in your silent way per se, and then you become that intel spy. And like you said, in your environment, you're able to make certain changes and adjustments until you can't take it anymore, and then you have to exit, which I've done. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. Okay, wow. So let me ask you then, let's go back to I want to go to shifting perspectives, right? Because you were in that system and you got a lot of stuck, I'm gonna just say stank perspective. Stank perspective, which is not, allowing us to move forward and evolve, in our own, inner lives and journeys. And therefore, it ends up in the prison system, right? How would you say with your work that you utilize to change that, to alter that, or to be an influence in that, so someone can say, hey, I don't have to stay this way fixed because I'm in the real world. You know how that goes. Please address that.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, first off, I would acknowledge, their reality,
Okay.
A lot of, and it is their reality at times. We could say it's our reality, right? Again, depending on how strongly you want to focus on any of the different facets, we are. So again, let's use for example someone that might be on that prison trajectory, right? So at youth, where are they at, right? They're in quote a ghetto, right? Young Black person in a ghetto, right? What are their influences, or the influences that a young Black kid is likely to look up towards, right? There might be someone in the car with the rims, right? What are they likely to be doing, right? To get money, to get easy money, fast money, right? What does the job outlook, the employment outlook look like for that individual, right? Who's likely to hire them? At what disparity are they likely to get paid, right? What does the criminal justice system look like for them, right? They're at home, their house gets broken into, the attitude of the authority system is, what did you do wrong, right? What is their association with people in uniform? So all of these things create that individual's reality.
Yeah.
So that, so when someone, and I hope I wouldn't come across with this, this approach, but when someone outside of that community comes in and says, you can do anything, you can be anybody, I don't know if I believe that if I'm that person, because what have I seen? I haven't seen anything and everything. I've seen people get arrested, people get shot, people do things, criminally to get money to feed their family. So on that level, the first thing I would do is acknowledge that, yes, that is your reality and it's messed up. You're not the fault for why it exists, right?
Right.
There are systems in place that perpetuate that existence,
yes.
right?
Oh.
Right. There are systems in place that benefit from you going to prison, right? Right. So I would try to start there, and try to get that understanding that, hey, I understand. Potentially I was that person, right? And then when we have that understanding, then we can kind of break down and say, okay, let's start here. Now, what are some realistic options? What's a realistic step one? Let me show you something else. Let me mentor you. Let me take you under my wing, right? Let me connect you with someone who has been where you are and you can relate to see that it is possible, right? That's how I would go about it. Form that relationship. Relationship is key.
Okay. So
That's
you
awesome.
mentor or mitigate and mentor the mental health, not just with the prisons, but the people you work with. You mitigate that in mentoring them through that process.
Yeah. I mean, there. I don't think there's any other way, right? If
Okay.
we're talking about exposure, you have to, what I mean, you have to facilitate a change, basically. And how do you do that? How do you get someone to change, right? They have to believe it's possible first.
Yeah.
Going back to the individuals with mental illness that I work with, give me drugs to make my symptoms go away. Put me in a place where people take care of me, right? So, when you get to me, I'm like, so that you can do something, right? Well, no, I don't know that. All right, cool. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Let me show you,
Sure. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's that's a whole nother topic in and of itself, but at least,
Yeah.
we're scratching the surface on that.
Yeah.
Now this is something even for me, sometimes I get confused with at times, I guess, depending on what's the difference between mental health and emotional health. And are they intertwined depending on the situation and whoever's experiencing it at the time?
Yeah, they definitely are connected, right? But if you look at emotional health, it's kind of emotions based, your ability to cope with the emotions that you experience, the ability to manage your emotions when they occur, when you find yourself in an emotion, right?
Yeah.
And then your mental health is more like decisions based, and it kind of going back to what I said earlier, right?
Interesting.
Based on where my mental health has been cultivated, now I'm able to make this decision, right? Whether it's a beneficial one or not beneficial, based on my mental wellness at that moment, or even around that specific thing.
Okay, wow. Any modalities that you use specifically that you can state, whether conventional or not, right? To help, right, to help someone move from, where they really don't want to be, even though the behavior is kind of fixed, to where they really want to be after sitting with you and mentoring them through it.
Yeah. Well, not specific modalities. Because then we get into types of therapy and counseling when you talk about specific stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But the concept, that kind of my style is based on, it's called, and it's actually kind of phasing, but it's called motivational interviewing. But basically that is, let me kind of engage you in a way and ask you questions in a way that lets you assess your own level of success based on your choices. Right.
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
And you guys have probably seen it, but the simplest way is that question that Dr. Phil is famous for, so how's that working out for you? Right. So if we're saying you're talking to me about, Elizabeth loves to say diet, right? So you're talking to me about diet, and you tell me that we start with a goal. So your goal is to run a mile in under 10 minutes, right? So we start about, okay, so what are the steps to get there? Well, you're probably going to have to practice. You're going to have to run regularly, right? You're going to have to jog. Right. How do you get energy? So what are you eating, right? Well, I mean, McDonald's every day. So let's reflect, right? This is your goal, and is eating McDonald's every day helping you get towards that goal? And then it's on that person, right? Although I'm there with them helping, but then it's on that person. Well, I mean, McDonald's is cheap. McDonald's tastes good, but that's not the question. Is that getting you to your goal?
Right.
Well, other people at McDonald's, hey, let's focus.
Mm.
Right. So that's like the basic premise of my style.
So I have a question. What about so I have a dear friend of mine who's been going through a really tough time. And I help people, I'm more than just nutrition. Like I help people with stress and all that. But I was struggling, and I didn't know what to do. And they were really leaning on the alcohol for comfort, not and wasn't able to stop drinking out of fear of going into the shakes. And so I genuinely was like, I said, you know what, let's just take it one step at a time. And so I was trying to be there. And I said, I don't know much about that. I said, but I know about the body. And I said, take some charcoal. I said, maybe that will help.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I said, take it one step at a time. And I said, maybe, and I don't know if this was helpful, but I said, maybe if you begin to go to the shakes, I said, maybe we will advocate that you can have some type, maybe a smaller amount of alcohol or something so that you don't go into the shakes, like, just to kind of get somewhere, you know what I mean? And kind of move forward. But like, what would you recommend, like, in that situation?
Yeah, well, so
it was a lot of trauma.
Sure. And we appreciate you, sis, for being that person, right? That someone else can
I try
look to, right? No, but so again, so let me just stand on that for a minute, because that's what we need. We have to establish a tribe amongst ourselves. We have to make each other feel comfortable, because that's one of the main reasons we don't get help, is because we're fearful, we're shameful. We reach out to somebody who we thought was a friend, we feel like they're family, and then we talk to them about our problems and they make us feel worse, right? Or they hand us off to somebody who's not informed about where we're at, or our culture or our traditions, right? So that quote helping experience is not helpful, right? It makes us feel bad, makes us, even though we contribute to our problems, right? It makes us feel like we're the sole fault, to why we have the issues that we have, right? So I just want to make sure we, you sis, Stephanie, all the others that, because we have a network amongst ourselves, right? Sure. But for anybody that's listening, we have to have that safe space. We have to have that community, that tribe, that village amongst ourselves. That's the only way we're going to collectively get better. But for that specific situation, and it kind of conflicts with what I just said, but there's always opportunities for professional help. There's always spaces where, and we know some of them we might know, but some of them they're definitely not shared enough. And on that level, we can talk about resources or compile a list, right?
Yeah.
But there's lines that you can call and just ask questions like, this is what I'm going through. What should I do? And these are people that they don't, on the other end, they don't ask a lot of questions as far as your personal information. They just share resources and information, right?
That's awesome.
Right.
Can you name one?
Well, one is the warm line, but I can't think like the number.
That's okay. We'll get it on commercial break. That sounds like an awesome resource. Go ahead. Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of different lines that you can call. Some of them you can even text message for an assortment of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Teen self-harm, suicide, substance abuse, all of that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so if it's that serious, there's professional resources. But then like harm reduction, like you were saying, when a lot of times people have a hangover, they want a Bloody Mary the next morning, or they have a beer the next morning, right? It's essentially the same thing to prevent those symptoms of relapse. Basically, I'm not with relapse, but withdrawal. Your brain chemistry is going through that, quote, withdrawal. So you're going to do a micro dose or a lesser dose to mitigate it, right? In our world, harm reduction is definitely something that it depends on the specific person. But it's definitely a reality that a lot of people use to ease them off of serious substance abuse.
Okay. Wow, that's deep. Yeah. Man, we're gonna have to take a super, super quick break. But yeah, thank you. You got me all in my feels. I don't appreciate that.
That's all right. You're all right, sis. Think about
I know. This is such an important topic.
yes, it is.
I wish more of us would be open to therapy. It's so funny. I hear it all the time. And this is what I hear too, is like person be like, yeah, no, yeah, you're absolutely right. We should have more of it in the community. Would you go to therapy? Nah, it's not for me. Oh, okay, super. Great. Thanks. Way to perpetuate. Like,
Right.
I can't name how many people. So it's so important. And I just wish we were more okay with it, getting professional help. I don't know if we need to call it something else or what, but
That's right.
I'm definitely interested, in those resources. Yeah, because
That's right.
it helps. So
Yes, it does.
we're gonna take just a super, super quick break. And then we will be right back, y'all. Just a few minutes.
Are you tired of losing the same 10 pounds over and over again? Then Break the Chains of Dieting by David Madansky is for you. Break the Chains of Dieting provides hope for you to finally lose weight and keep it off without going on a diet, without exercising, and without having to count calories. For less than you'd spend on a pizza, this book gives you the solution you've been looking for. Available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and antidietadvocate.com. Order your copy today.
Bloated? Constipated? Wish there was a way to find relief without nasty side effects. Colon hydrotherapy is an ancient natural practice that gently cleanses the colon with filtered water. Be More Clean specializes in colon hydrotherapy and customized holistic nutrition built for you. Stop by Be More Clean on Scottsdale Road in Thomas or visit our website at bemoreclean.com for all your holistic wellness needs.
Life is about flowing. Our life depends upon the flow and balance of fluids within the body. Maintaining balance and harmony on all levels in life is the ideal way to live. Michael's cholesterol metabolism factors and Michael's blood pressure factors allow for the flow of life to progress in balance and harmony. Let Michael's cholesterol metabolism factors and Michael's blood pressure factors be factors in your flow in the enjoyment of life.
Do you ever feel stuck, frustrated, or just know you could be doing more with your life? Dream Smart Academy is a place where everyone can discover who they were made to be behaviorally, uncover their unique behavioral superpowers, and unleash them upon your world. Visit the Dream Smart Academy today at dreamsmartacademy.com or call Jeff Morris, the Chief Dream Maker, at 760-415-1071.
Life is exciting, fun, and full of adventure, but sometimes it can be unpredictable. When the unexpected hits and you feel trapped in a financial pinch, trust UPI Loan Fund. We operate with integrity and aim to get our lenders back to living life without worrying about hidden fees and high interest rates. When life throws you a curveball, call UPI Loan Fund for low interest loans that you can trust. Learn more. Visit our website, upiloanfund.us. That's upiloanfund.us.
Are you looking to ditch caffeine, or do you enjoy coffee but want a delicious caffeine-free cup in the afternoon? Give Genantic Maya-Seed Coffee Alternative a try. A nutrient-rich coffee alternative using one ingredient, the roasted and ground Maya seed, a superfood sourced from Mexico that is alkalizing to the body and high in nutrients, giving you a sustainable nutrient-based energy that your body craves. You can buy on Genantic.com. That's JNANTIK.com.
Spiritual awakening is the process of becoming more in touch with your spiritual core. It is a wonderful journey that is unique for each individual. New Day Healing believes that spiritual, physical, and emotional awakening are all intertwined to create the beautiful beings that we are. New Day Healing offers a wide selection of world music, awakening radio, wellness tools in their spirit shop, and more. Check out their website at newdayhealing.net.
Welcome back to the Healthy Grocer Radio Show. I'm your host, Elizabeth Joseph, with my very special co-host, always, Stephanie Stanley, holistic pharmacist with Pharmacists for Humanity. Yes. Our topic today is the importance of mental health and community, with our very special guest, Samuel Damon, husband, first, father, multiple business owner, and community activist. And you know what? Behavioral health special expert, behavioral health something, 20 plus years. So
yeah,
also,
right. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Well, I'd like to start off this session with bullying. Bullying seems to be a huge topic. And I'm sure at some point in our lives, we've all been bullied. But when it gets to the extent of, turning a bully into, let's say, like a Hitler, or someone who just cannot get rid of the rage of that. Yeah, I had to go there because it manifests in that way in some people. And, because they end up in prison systems, right? And life sentences and all of that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, like, I know this is kind of a serious topic, like right now, but how can that be addressed, like in the men's group, and how you work with the men in particular, I'm going to say, in the prison work that you do from the bullying standpoint, like when you reverse engineer back to childhood.
Yeah. Well, I think we as men, right, particularly Black men, we need to make each other feel and believe that it's okay to not be macho, right? We have to feel like it's okay to cry. We have to feel like it's okay to need help from a man or a woman. We have to feel like it's okay to, quote, be nice to other men and other women. If we focus, so let me back up. So in general, bullying is kind of a natural part of maturation, right?
Okay.
I was listening to a comedian the other day. It made me laugh. It resonated with me because, of course, it's the world I live in, right? But he was talking about being a youth and being bullied and how it's necessary so that when you're an adult and your boss yells at you, you're acclimated to take it, right? And you can respond because you've been thickened, right? Your skin has been thickened through the process of bullying, right? So when you're right, you're more well adjusted, right? But if I'm hearing what you're saying, Miss Stephanie, the like more extreme, the toxic, or even the current level of bullying, because not to age any of us, but back in my day, bullying started with the school day, and it probably ended with the school day.
Right.
Right. Maybe a little bit on the, maybe a little bit on the bus, maybe a little bit, definitely much less in the neighborhood. Right.
There you go.
Right. Oh yeah.
Right. And the bullying definitely had that family, I'm gonna push you down, but it's because I love you, brother, type of energy to it, right? Like I'm a upperclassman, you're a lowerclassman, so I'm gonna bully you just because that's the dynamic, not because I hate you, right? Okay. Not because I want you to be suicidal, right?
Sure.
The current iteration of bullying is nonstop because of social media, right?
Oh, wow.
We don't have the sanctuary of our home when it comes to bullying because the internet is everywhere. It's pervasive, right?
It's in your pocket.
Interesting.
In your pocket, right? In everybody's pocket, right? So someone can, post something mean about you, whether it's true or not, something mean about your family, right? And then everybody, like, quote, instantly knows about it. They can share it. It can grow, right? So now you're getting it at school face to face. You're getting it at home because people tagging you, commenting, sharing the post, all this stuff. Your other friends, your other family sees it. People who may have been close to you, now they're being kind of warped because they're being influenced by it. Well, dang, 500 people posted it, so it got to be true. So now I don't want to be your friend, right?
Damn.
Versus again, back in the day where you had, I'm thinking of the lunchroom, right? Like, the geek group was at a table, right? And they were safe amongst themselves, right?
Yeah.
But now, if with the more toxic space of social media, those safe spaces are much less. So that's one part of it, right?
Very good.
But to how to address it, if we're talking about specifically, in our community and the people that we're more close with, right? Yeah. Black and brown people, Black and brown men. I'm going to focus on the aspect of masculinity and what that looks like in our world, right? When you talk about how most of our influences, when you're talking about music, talking about movies and entertainment, belittle somebody to be a man, right?
Yeah.
Get your woman body count up to be a man. right?
Yep.
So when you have someone who's quote trying to not do that, trying to be quote good, they're going to be bullied, right? You a punk because you still a virgin, right?
Yeah, that type of culture.
Absolutely. You a sissy because you asking your mom for help, right? So that's why in the beginning I said we have to kind of address that part to get at the bullying part of it, right? Because if we don't understand that, if we're not okay with that, if I'm a dad and I'm not okay with my son crying, that it starts right there, right?
Come on now. That's right.
Can we park here, please? I want to park. I need to park here. You know what? Hold on. You said something earlier that I want to address, because you said that bullying is a part of our natural maturation. And I thought that was a really interesting comment. And I don't necessarily disagree. However, I know people that would take that comment and justify maybe certain parenting styles. And I don't want to, judge parents, but the way I'm raising my son is very different than, I was raised. And so there's this back and forth argument in society, but there's no, like this, children are meant to be seen and not heard. Like, no, be quiet, stay in your place. You know what I'm saying? There's that kind of thing. And so my, my buddy of mine, even jokes about no, I'm gonna F your kid up. And I'm like we joke about it, but there's this, I feel like there's a belief that yeah, bullying is necessary. So I need to toughen up my child. But my belief is that there's enough toughness out there for them to experience that I don't feel like I need to impose that on them. What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate your transparency. And I'm sure other mothers can relate. I can even relate myself thinking about my child and other parents that I know, right? And how we all interact with each other and each other's kids. I would go back to my style. So what is the goal, right? Are you trying to toughen up? And I know you have a son, sis. Are you trying to toughen up my son because you want him to grow up and be a tough man who promotes these current stereotypes and these current issues, right?
Yep.
Or are you trying to toughen up my son so that when another bully who's not from our family, who's not from our culture, approaches him, he will have the ability to either defend himself if needed, or mentally be tough enough to not engage in that and get himself in trouble, right? So what's the goal, right?
Okay.
And that's that's the way I go with stuff like that. And again, to further it, right? Going back to what I said in the beginning, also, people aren't necessarily thoughtful on that level, right? So they're not necessarily thinking, oh, I'm perpetuating toxic masculinity, right?
Of course not.
Right. So right. Right. And that's why we get the response, right? When you're like, hey, don't treat my kid like that. That's my kid. I don't appreciate that, right? They're like, well, forget you did, we have to, and it's rough because dang, we got so much, right? We have to be so, I don't want to use the word careful, but we just have to be mindful on how we interact with each other, right?
Mindful.
Yeah, hey, I believe that you love me, you love my kid, but I don't appreciate the way you're doing this, and this is why, right?
Yeah.
Let's can we talk about where I'm coming from, and then hopefully there's that understanding. If not, well, it's my kid, so.
Right. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Big facts.
Yeah, that's a huge area. So yeah, a lot to unpack there. Because this is a subject dear to my heart. Even I was speaking with my ex today, and we actually, I'm going to say it, still live in the same house, and that's some of the reasons that we're not together, and not having been able to see the perspective of being more holistic instead of this lopsided experiences that you have fixed to your consciousness, and to shift in many conversations and many experiences he's had in his life outside of myself. When he brings them back to me, I'm like, so many examples, but still it's fixed in kind of, this is what it is. I mean, it's lessened a little bit, but not enough to where, he can, I see him personally changing and moving forward with different things and just perpetuating the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is dear to me, because I look at, if the toxic male culture continues, then it's like the women just ante up too. And it's like, no, and when we should be more feminine in our space, hopefully to draw some of that out, because that's the part that they're not tapping into, right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, we just want to balance. We just need a balance because we need, and I think I've run into a lot of men. It's like, and I would also say that it's not their fault. It's not our fault, but
Right.
where it's like, when we talk about toxic masculinity, it feels like it's a threat to the masculinity. And it's like, I want to say right now, like, I love masculinity. I love a masculine man that can support me and take care of me. Like, I love that. But I do believe that toxic masculinity is a real thing. I really, really do. I'm a product of it.
Most of us are, right?
Yeah.
You're not alone. Yeah. Again, right. That's right.
But because again, how many people even know, that toxic masculinity is a thing? Like I can guarantee if I brought that up with my dad, he'd be like, "Boy,
Get
after 20 years in this area, really?
Telling me now, yeah, right.
Yeah, we and again, like you're saying, Sis Stephanie, with your ex, and again, thank you for sharing. I appreciate when people are transparent.
Real life we're living, exactly.
Yeah.
For real solutions, yeah.
Right, but to your point, where you're saying, if we like when we basically challenge somebody's like way of thinking, I always try to tell people to try to see it like this, to try to understand it like this, right? It's not that you're just giving new information, right? What you're doing in their mind, what you're doing is telling them that everything they know is wrong, right?
That's right.
So that's why we have so many challenges. You're trying to share with them, like, hey, you don't have to be like that. I know this new way or this different way, right? I've become aware of this way. And they're like, well, this is the way my dad, my grandpa, their grandpa, culture, society, right? So you trying to tell me I'm wrong, right? So that, again, we have to be so mindful about the way we have these discussions, because like you said, it's a lot to unpack.
Yes.
Whew, it is. It is a lot to unpack. I need to collect myself. This is very deep topic. So we're going to go ahead and go to our Vitamin Magic segment with Michael, and then we'll be right back, and then we're going to wrap up. All right. Stay tuned.
Hi, and welcome to another informative Vitamin Mineral Magic Carpet Ride. This week, we're going to be talking about zinc, and it is absolutely, and I think I mentioned this last week, essential for optimal immune functions. Zinc is also necessary for diabetics because it is a component of insulin, and also it binds to the insulin and helps enhance its activity, and that will help lower sugar in the bloodstream, because too much sugar in the bloodstream turns to acid. The acid can eat away at the nerve endings, thus create the blindness. And also, too much sugar in the bloodstream impedes circulation, which then sets the body up for diabetic ulcers, especially in the ankles and the feet. Zinc also plays a fundamental role in normal tissue development, along with A, and it helps in cell division, mitosis, when one cell becomes two and so on. Also helps in protein building, as well as collagen formation, along with vitamin C. So you can see that zinc is an essential nutrient. It's also essential in the synthesis of nucleic acids, which control the formation of different proteins in the cell. And I think I told you this before, that the body runs on proteins and enzymes, and that your B vitamins are technically coenzymes and are involved in all of the enzymatic processes that help the body to function. Zinc is also related to the normal absorption and action of the B complex vitamins, as well as A and E and C. More about this next week.
All right. Welcome back to the Healthy Grocer Radio Show. I'm your host, Elizabeth Joseph, with my co-host, as always, Stephanie Stanley, a holistic pharmacist for Humanity. Excuse me. Our topic today has been the importance of mental health in community. We've gotten really, really deep, man. We got really deep with our guest here today, Samuel Adams, a husband, father, multiple business owner, community activist, and behavioral health specialist who's been in the field for over 20 years. So I really want to ask, do you have any closing comments or even advice, maybe some tips that we can do at home for in the few minutes that we have left? Do you have anything any closing comments?
I mean, like you say, there's so much, right? There's a lot, but just everybody just be mindful of one another. Like I posted the other day, like love each other, right? Help each other, and have a good day. That's the best way.
Have a good day. That's good.
Love each other and have a good day. Wait, what's your Instagram? Do you have an Instagram that you want to share? Where can we follow you?
Define you.
Yeah.
In Instagram and Facebook is punctuation with 1 period.
Okay.
The word punctuation, the word with, the number 1, the word period.
Okay, perfect. Okay, all right. Wow, that's amazing. So, super deep conversation today. We talked about, emotional health versus mental health, recognizing your emotions, and really supporting each other. My biggest takeaway is build your tribe, build your tribe, have a community. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Exactly. Reach out.
And being mindful, which it really sounds like being compassionate, being empathetic, like really truly putting yourself, in the other person's shoes.
Right.
Awesome. Well, I just want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us again. My name is Elizabeth Joseph. You can learn more about Sam with punctuation with the period, his own show at pw1pshow.com. And that's on the screen right there. If y'all are listening later on, it's pw1pshow.com. But you can find him on Instagram, of course, punctuation with 1, the number 1 period. If you find us on YouTube, you'll be able to see everything. And again, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It was an amazing conversation. Again, I'm Elizabeth Joseph. Yes. Thank you so much. We have Stephanie Stanley, pharmacist. And go ahead and be sure to tune in next week when we'll be discussing an alkaline coffee alternative with our dear friend Danielle. Danielle, that's our
Danielle will be back. Oh, there we go.
That's our homegirl from the kitchen corner. Yes, so she will be on next week. I'm super excited to discuss that, the superfood, Genantic superfood. So if you missed any part of today's show or you just want to listen again, all the podcasts can be viewed and heard live on demand. Facebook, Twitter, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all the places where you find your podcast. But my favorite is YouTube because then you can see us.
Yeah.
So until next time, next Saturday at 11 a.m. Arizona time, that's Mountain Standard. Thanks for listening to the Healthy Grocer Radio Show. And remember, health is your greatest wealth.
You've been listening to the Healthy Grocer Radio Show, brought to you by New Day Healing at newdayhealing.net and Be More Clean colon hydrotherapy at bemoreclean.com. Thanks for listening today, and please check us out on your favorite social media sites so you can meet our friend Perry Pearhead and stay up to date with the latest natural products, health news, natural remedies, health retailer and community spotlights, and much more. The Healthy Grocer would love to hear from you regarding previous shows, improving the show, or letting us know what topics you'd like to discuss. So please feel free to contact us live, on air, or email your questions to info@healthygrocerradio.com. All radio show podcasts can be viewed and heard live or on demand 24/7 at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Spreaker, and on our website at healthygrocerradio.com. And remember, health is your greatest wealth.